it today. So this is a very personal call that I want to make. Now, most people who have followed me online know my stand when it comes to morality. All right. And the thing that happens to me is when I see something that works, I'm always under serious compulsion to share it with people out there. I don't like hoarding the truth. I always want to share the truth. I have that propensity in me. There's something that makes me always do that. And I believe it's God. Many people who have followed me over the years know that I started an organization called Chastity International. And what we do with Chastity International is we basically encourage people who are not married to stay chaste and not indulge in sexual immorality until they get married. And when you get married, or if you're married, you stay sexually committed to the person that you're married to alone. When we started this journey, a lot of people thought it was a bit too weird, because then they thought it was weird, but now it's even weirder now than it was then. Back then, about 5 years or more than 5 years, it was easy for people to say, well, this is wonderful. Some people thought it was weird. Some people didn't think it was weird. But today, you have more people who think it's weird than ever, because the bars that we set for morality have been lowered drastically. Now, it's not even a crime anymore for people to just stroll into immorality on the street, anywhere, anyhow. It doesn't even matter what titles you have. Anybody can just do it's almost like a norm in our society today. So when you hear people say chastity, somebody will look at you like, what planet did you come from? But I'm going to tell you something. There's a video that I said I would make. I don't know what it is that is still holding me from making that video. A video in which I plan to explain to us the two categories of human beings we have on earth based on bloodlines. The people that we call the rat and the ones that I call the lizards. And I was able to title it that, Rats and Lizards, because of an adage, an Igbo adage, which says that if the rats jump into the lagoon with the lizard, when they both come out, the lizard's body is going to drive very fast and that of the rat will not. And the rat is going to have to deal with the consequences of not thinking properly before jumping with the lizard, because it's going to have to deal with cold, right? These are the two categories I have concluded of people on earth. People who still have a lot of deposits in their bloodline account, who can get away with so much, and those who have zero. Their ancestors have sold everything in their bloodline account and left them pure slaves to Satan. And that the only way that they can possibly get by on earth in terms of material blessings is by selling themselves out, selling their souls to Christ and becoming 100% slaves to Christ, not 99.9% slave, 100% slave to Christ. Now, around our world, if you look, there are too many of such. We call them the rats. I come from the bloodline of the rats. This definition of rats in terms of bloodline, who have absolutely nothing left for them in the bloodlines. And so the only way we get by is by being sold out to Christ. The fact that the guy who comes from a rich bloodline, that their ancestors did nothing but live a lot of glory and deposit for them there, the fact that they are doing crazy things and getting away with it doesn't mean that I, Joseph Okechukwu, would do it and get away with it. You can have a friend who sleeps around and does all kinds of crazy stuff and they get away with it. They can even sleep with people's spouses, get away with it. But you, common lust, you just lusted or just had one moment of masturbation. Almost everything that you have planned for just comes crumbling before your eyes. And you're like, why? These people are worse than me. They smoke, they do this, they do that. But me, why? What is that? Because you belong to the rat bloodline group. That's why you cannot compare with anybody. Our race to heaven, or what you call the heavenly race, is very individualistic. It's an individual race. So most of the time when I give all these instructions I'm giving to you, I'm giving you instructions that have worked wonders for me. You will see people who belong to the lizard bloodline group. They can do all manner of stuff. And yet the next morning, After all the things they've committed, they get a call of promotion. They get a call of a new contract. They get a call for this or that. But just that tiny little sleep you made, you are back down to the basement. And they have just climbed to the 100th floor. It's an individual thing. Now, for people, whether you belong to the lizard or to the rat bloodline group, you know that even as a lizard, things might work well for you on this earth because you come from a bloodline where the ancestors did not sell out to the devil and they protected everything. And so you guys are reaping of what your ancestors have done. Yes, that's okay. You can do all kinds of evil and get away with it and still get promoted and make money. That's fine. But if you die, you're still going to end up in hell. The only difference between you and the other guy is that the other guy cannot get by as a normal person just the way you get by without even being a Christian, without even going to church or praying. Things work for you, but he can't because he is a slave to the devil. His ancestors have sold everything to the devil in all kinds of ancestral commitments that were made in the past. And so they're just there. Either they remain slaves to the devil or they sell out to Christ and become slaves to Christ permanently. And like I said, this slavery is not 99.9% slavery. No, it is a 100% slavery to Christ, meaning that every single thing you do, your move you make, all have to be dictated by Christ. It's how you become affluent. You become rich, stupendously rich. You become great. You become famous. Everything works for you. Even more than it works for the guys that belong to the lizard group of bloodline. I didn't think I was going to be able to even digress and talk about that. I want to make this a full-blown teaching on these two categories. But I think I almost succeeded in giving you an idea of what it looks like. But then let me go to the real topic. The real topic is something I believe has worked so wonderfully for me, and that is chastity. And every time I say this, I am always careful to remind you that I am not putting out a posture of perfection. I am the least perfect person on earth, but I am telling you the truth, which is what you guys all know me for, all across social media. They call me Mr. Truth. They call me Truther. They call me everything. Everything I share with you is the truth, only the truth, and nothing but the truth. That chastity is behind every single humongous promotion that I have received in my life today. I have to be honest with you. Many people today are running from one church to another church, one prayer ground to another prayer ground. You don't want to give up your immoral life. You don't want to give up your sinful ways. But you want your promotions to still be there. No, you can't eat your cake and have it. You have to give up one to receive the other, especially for those of you who belong to the rat group of bloodlines, which is where I belong. I found this out early enough and know that whatever I do, like Igbo people will say, the goat that lies on the bare floor is lying on its own skin, not any other person's skin. So whatever I do, I'm doing to myself. I can get up today and say, I want to go and sleep with prostitutes. I want to sleep with every girl I find. It's ultimately up to me. I can do that. I have the money to put any woman anywhere I want to put her, sleep with her, do anything I want. Take them even on a trip. I can do that. But the goat that lies on the bare floor lies on whose skin? His own skin. If you know the implications of your actions, and if you know that they are detrimental, why would you embark on them? So what I pray to God every day is give me the grace now that I have knowledge, now that I have understanding. The next thing that I need is the grace and the power to live within the dictates of this knowledge so that it may be well with me. Because they say lack of knowledge is the reason why God's people perish. My people perish for the lack of knowledge. But when you now have the knowledge, you are saved. And the only way you get saved is by acting on the knowledge that you have. So I already have the knowledge of what the secrets to prosperity is for people like me, which I believe are all over the place today. And the next thing you need is the grace to live by that knowledge, by those principles, in order that your prosperity will burst open, just break like the day. I was just telling you about those two bloodline categories, the lizards and the rat. If you even look at the churches we have around today, you can see there are churches that are built for rat bloodline group or category. And there are churches, affluent churches, that are for the lizards. You see them, they come in their posh cars. They don't usually have any problem from the pastor. It's just, pastor, I had a headache yesterday. I mean, there's this guy that was troubling me in my office. I just don't like the stress. Daddy, can you pray for me? All the kind of things they are bringing for pastor to pray for are just very light things. Pastor can even be sipping on some juice and be praying and nothing. But go and check churches where you have plenty of those people from the rat group of bloodlines. The pastor will pray from morning till night. They will pray, they will fast. In fact, they will even deceive many of them. All these other fake prophetic churches, that's where you find those rat group of bloodline people there. They are always running and looking for prayers because they don't have knowledge of the fact that they don't need those people to pray for them if they can only live by the dictates of the laws that guide the rat group of bloodlines. And that law means that you are either sold out and remain a slave to Satan, or you are sold out 100%. There are two paradigms. You are either to the end, to the extreme of that satanic slavery, enslavement, or you are to the extreme of godly enslavement. You must be a slave to Christ in total 360 degrees, or you are a slave to Satan forever. And when you are going to remain a slave to Satan, those limits placed over your life must remain. It cannot go beyond. If you like, change your locations. You can never earn past a certain amount of money. You can never go beyond a certain level in life. Anytime people see you 10 years later, they will still see you almost within the same sphere. You haven't increased in anything. Maybe you have added small weight, but nothing has improved in your life. The only time that breaks is when you sell out to Christ. So chastity is what you can use as the easy way out of this ancestral enslavement that has converted you to a rat group of bloodline member. Once you use chastity, you are going to see things transform. We have seen too many testimonies, uncountable. That's why we created a group for it. And today, even though I do teachings on that group, we have a Telegram group. I go there to teach almost every Tuesday. And when I'm not there, we have a leader, Isaac, who is always there. So what I have decided now is that maybe we can just make it a fellowship where believers come together. Believers of like mind can come together and just fellowship and just share ideas, just share thoughts, just share the word of God, and just, share your experiences and let iron sharpen iron. Okay? So if you're interested in being a part of that community where believers have common ideology, common ideas, and common experiences, I think you should look at the phone number on the screen. Call that number to the guy who heads our Nigerian West African operations, Isaac, and Isaac is going to get you into that group, and then you can become a part of that larger family where we want to continually actually admonish ourselves and sharpen ourselves like God's children should do all the time. So this is the top secret that I wanted to share with you. I don't have to always share with you only political top secrets. This one is a very, very top secret that I want to share with you. And I want you to take it very, very seriously. Do not take it for granted. You do not need, if you follow the things I'm telling you about declaring chastity, if you're a married man, you stick to your wife and don't look outside. If you're not married, just hold yourself. God is going to give you someone, and just maintain chastity. If you can maintain that, I'm telling you, you wouldn't need anybody praying for you. You wouldn't need to fall victim to all these charlatans who claim they are pastors or prophets or whatever. A lot of them are charlatans. Almost 85 to 90% of them, if not more than that, they are criminals. They don't have anything to do with God or godliness. But yet, most of you flock their churches because you don't know what to do anymore. I'm telling you what to do right now. Self-help. Just embrace the life of chastity and purity in your moral living, and you will see how everything will just blossom for you. Okay, so please take all the details presented for you here now on the screen, all the details on the screen, and get in touch with Isaac. They even have a link where people can click on to join, or people can click on for counseling. There's a link that you're going to be presented with when you join. And some of those things is not just going to be Isaac alone or one or two other persons. I may even get involved. Sometimes I may have to directly intervene and just talk to people or just advise or admonish or something. Sometimes I can even speak to you on the phone. It has happened before where I had to speak to a couple and help them to navigate the murky, turbulent waters that they were, trying to get confused about navigating at that time. So I can get involved sometimes, not all the time because of how many things I'm doing at the same time, but sometimes I can get involved. But the most important thing, the first step is that you have to be a member of the family first, the Chastity family, and where we can share ideas together. And from there, we can begin to expand our reach and expand the love we share amongst one another. So that's my little tip today, and I pray and hope that this helps a little bit for you. God bless you real good.